Howdy guys, this is Maine again, and I'm recording this video of Veil of Ice fully loaded for the EZMU Tournament thread. We did this last time with assessing the threat, which is the second map of the game, and while you can deal with some basic stuff there, there's a whole lot more meat to this one. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We've got a simple one entrance to the map and two entrances to the core housing, along with essentially three ways that the aliens can take as paths to get there. Of course, starting out when you haven't built anything, they are going to prefer the simple, straightforward, shortest route to the core housing. So we're going to want to take advantage of that as much as possible. We'll block their paths in various ways. And the trick here is to figure out how to do it using the fewest possible number of resources so that you can gain as much interest as you possibly can at the start. Now there's actually going to be a full playthrough of this, which is a separate video, although I may edit them together for the sake of simplicity. But I'll go ahead and show off the opening here. The build starts at 1,016 resources. This is so that we can upgrade these two towers to yellow before the aliens get into range, and this should, about 98% of the time, depending on the wave composition, well, not really composition, but the order that they come out in, kill this entire wave, utilizing only the 700 resources for two yellow and green guns. There tend to be minor variations in the way that waves come out, which is why every once in a while you'll find yourself backspacing in order to get a more favorable wave layout. So we'll see which one we wind up with here, because there is one of the variations that this does not kill properly, and he runs back out with two cores, and we reset. But that worked fine. So, going into Wave 2, this is where the flyers start appearing. We're going to wind up with a missile tower here, but we're not going to build it immediately. We're going to see some very minor juggling here, which is something that's not available to you on all maps, but is available to you on a map like this with multiple paths. Wait until those two first walkers get right onto the ramp, and then we'll come over here and build the missile tower, kicking them back in the other direction. Gun and Inferno here are going to help us mop this up. And we'll run it forward to Wave 3. You'll notice that just about everything is dead at this point. Slow it down, and throw in the 3 gun towers to have what is pretty much our final pathing. There will eventually be a couple of gun towers here to force a slightly longer route. I found that it worked better for scoring, and that late game with one of my final map revisions I was able to upgrade those two to yellow, and I was thus able to not have to upgrade the missile tower to red, but was able to leave that at yellow, again under most of the wave compositions. There was one where, for whatever reason, even though I had red gun, yellow, 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 these greens here, and a yellow missile, the flyers were still just leaking through and stealing cores left and right, and I was cursing at the screen. Because none of my other runs had that happen, and I'm still unsure as to why it happened on that one particular try. Anyway, while we're running this in slow motion, we'll talk a little bit about the rest of the map. You know, obviously there's a whole lot of space here that I'm not using. Generally, I'm not going to want to, because I'm going to try and get through this with one command tower placed right here, although I'm not going to place it yet. You'll see that in the full version. And also there's some space up here that, aside from these two spots, and maybe this, in some versions of my layout for this map, I use a gun tower here as well. Just green to force them along a slightly longer path and leave them in range of this command tower longer. similarly, down here there's a whole lot of room to work with that I'm essentially not going to touch because once again it's going to be out of command range, and having things die out of command range is bad.
Take those things out.
So that's the really basic setup of Veil of Ice fully loaded. Full video to come. And I hope you guys are enjoying the tournament. I'm having actually quite a bit of fun doing these maps, trying to improve on my own scores, and then, well, doing a little bit of showing off and hopefully a little bit of teaching you guys a little more about the game. So have a good one.
Heads up. They're taking a call. That's better. We've recovered a call. Here's a fresh batch of them. The big ones are made of tough stuff. Be careful. Any time now? Cover with the guns. None of them remain to tell the tale. Nicely handled. That's how we'll beat them. Take everything they've got.